Well, first few games of the season, you've got 9 points through 4 games. This is a very competitive attacking unit from what it looks like. How has it been kind of meshing with the guys early in the season, and just maybe speak a little bit on that competition up front?
Well, the competition is great. You know what I mean? We have a lot of attacking, good, quality players in our team. So, you know, each and every week, each and every practice, you got to bring it. You know, that hunger, that burning desire to do well and perform at a high level is it starts in practice. And then obviously when your number is called on the weekend, you got to show up and perform as well to obviously, you know, keep your place in the team, because as I said, there's a lot of talent across our attacking core, and you know, guys can step in and get the job done, and you know, we don't miss a beat in terms of what we want to do on both sides of the ball. The chemistry's coming along just fine. I feel like, you know, it's still early in the season, but I mean, obviously with the 2 months preseason that we had, and you know, the month into the season so far, there's a lot of things that we're still working on to be better at. But those things take time. But I like where we're at, and you know, we just continue to work and improve and get better.
How does this compare to other preseason, early season squads you've been a part of?
I mean, it's somewhat similar. Somewhat similar. I mean, I've played on a bunch of talented teams. You know, all around talent, just like this team from back to front, front to back. What I'd say, there's a lot of emphasis on being very, I don't want to necessarily say perfect, but it's almost, close to perfect in a sense. We know it's never going to be that way. We're going to have breakdowns, mistakes are going to be made, but there's a lot of details that comes from the coaching staff, things that we got to be better at, things that we got to be sharp at, and there's a lot of emphasis on that, especially with our video sessions as well and things of that nature. So, I mean, I feel like as long as we stick to our principles and continue to do that, we'll be all right.
Obviously, you just got back from international duty as well. What did that mean to you to get that call to make that feature, and how has it helped you now that you're back here in Hartford?
It's always great to represent the country. These guys will tell you, guys who've been there will tell you, it's always an honor. You never take those moments or those opportunities for granted. So it's always, humbling experience. It's always a privilege and honor to get selected and be a part of something special, especially with your country, from the standpoint of your country. But, I just try to take that experience and that opportunity and just try to bring it here, and just, it's the same mentality all around. The mentality doesn't change whether I'm there or here. It's just taking, whatever I can from here to there, and whatever I can learn from there and bring it here, and just keep on going.
Yeah, and you mentioned the emphasis on the little details in practice. Phases of the game, like the end of last week, where it was a little, defensively, let in a couple of goals. What do you take from that, and how's that kind of been addressed this game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going into an Open Cup game against NYCFC, but I mean, we know, like, the last 15 minutes of the game, we definitely kind of, dropped our guards a little bit. After watching video, the first goal kind of came, I think, from a turnover on our right side, and they were able to circulate it around. We actually did well to get back in our recovery, in our shape, but just a few unlucky bounces went their way and they were able to capitalize. And then outside of that, I think the last goal that they scored that made it interesting for the last 45 seconds was the fact that we left our marker on the back post. At this level, you're always going to get punished, leaving guys wide open like that, for a free header. And it's just very unfortunate miscue for an own goal. On another day, maybe luck goes our way, it doesn't go in, but on another day, it could be a 2-2 result if we didn't get that third goal. So, I mean, just looking at it as a whole, there's a lot of things that we can always be better at, but we'll take the 3 points and push on to the next game.
You mentioned the Open Cup. You personally have had some success in the Open Cup, a couple of goals. Are you looking forward to that game next week?
Absolutely. We treat every game the same. We're in a competition for a reason. We're trying to win. I mean, this team has lofty goals. We have things that we set out that we want to achieve, and the Open Cup is right up there. It's a great opportunity for us as a group to kind of get some momentum going, win some games, get on a good run of form outside of league play as well, and that potentially could help us in league play as well. So we don't underestimate any opponent that comes in here. The mindset is just the same, and we're looking forward to a win and move on to the next round.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Good.
Congrats on 100 championship appearances coming out, scoring on that first goal for the club. How's all that feel?
Well, it feels good. All that feels good, making it my 100th appearance in the USL and getting a goal on it. So it was really special for me, and being able to also get 3 points at home and winning the game for the team, I was really happy.
I know you have some big goals, personal, individual goals this season. So getting that first goal out of the way probably feels pretty good. How are you feeling there and feeling in the groove?
Yeah, I'm in the groove. I have goals, and first of many. So once it rains, it pours, right? So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and Romario was telling us about how there's a lot of emphasis here in practice on the little details. What specifically maybe are you looking at going into the double game week with the Open Cup coming up, and what's been the emphasis in training this week?
Emphasis, the way New York plays, they like to play, so there's big spaces out there that we can exploit. And then we're going to get down into that tomorrow, more in details. So today's more like getting back in since we had 4 days off. But we'll get more information tomorrow as we go.
Yeah, and I asked Romario about this as well, but there's a lot of competition in this. This is a very deep team this year, and you're one of those guys that has been kind of right in the battle, getting minutes and getting important minutes as well. Mm-hmm. So what has that been like, really testing yourself, and how has it helped you early in the season to kind of be in that death battle with the guys?
It's good. We have a lot of competition, like you mentioned and Romario mentioned. It's more of like, we're a team, so we like to help each other be competitive in a friendly way,
Yeah.
And the coach also, trusting us to be able to compete week in, week out. We have two games coming up next week, so there's going to be a lot of rotations, and guys will get minutes, and they can prove themselves, to be ready for San Antonio's game. So, and my goal is to start against San Antonio and do well on Wednesday. So that's the goal for me at this moment: get a goal in and keep improving. So that's it for me.
The last 15, 20 minutes or so of the Miami game, it got a lot closer than maybe you would have been comfortable with. What does the team learn from moments like that?
I'll say we learn when we are leading, we don't need to, take the foot off the gas. We need to continue to suffocate and punish the opponent. It doesn't matter, even if it's 90th minute, 5-0. We still, keep putting pressure. We still want to score. We want to be better. That's the goal. We want to win the championship, so we can't slack off. 2-0. We think we're good now. Teams in the USL punish people.
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously it's been a back and forth couple of weeks with North Carolina coming back and winning versus Miami.
Yep.
I'm just wondering, in that stretch, what do you learn about the team that maybe you didn't see as much in preseason when you start to get those results?
Well, you start to see real-life opponents and a lot of different shapes and approaches to the game, and I thought Miami did a really good job of building out in the first half and kind of breaking apart our press, so we had to make an adjustment at halftime. Those are the things that you learn in the season that you can't really replicate in preseason. So it becomes less about energy and effort and more about tactical discipline on top of the energy and effort. So I think we're showing or proving that we're going to be able to hang, that we're going to be a playoff team, and it's a matter of where we finish in that standing.
And you've got a double game week coming up, first time that's happened this season, and you've stressed the whole time fitness as a major goal. Do you feel your squad is ready for it, and what sort of rotation might you expect going into those?
Yeah, well, there'll be a good rotation to the game on Wednesday, but we also go in with expectations to advance deep in the competition. I had the benefit of being part of a group last year that won the whole thing, and that's a special memory, a special feeling. And with a handful of the MLS teams not participating this year and only 8 of them in, that presents an even bigger opportunity to go on a deeper run. So we'll go for it and we'll see what we get, but there will be heavier rotation.
Is that winning experience, is that something you told to the guys and used as motivation of sorts?
Yeah, I think so. And we talked about the different makeup of the tournament this year. Leagues Cup is becoming more of a focus for some MLS teams, and some MLS teams still desperately want this trophy. It's a ticket to Champions League and a lot of other, cool benefits. So, I've talked to the guys about how much fun this can be if you get going in this competition, and the fact that we've built the roster so that we're deep and we can sustain double game weeks by using our rotation.
You mentioned rotating. I know they've had 4 or 5 guys with various injuries over the course of the early part of the season. Does that affect your plans to rotate? How does it look from that perspective?
It just reduces how much we can rotate because some of those guys won't be available to us by next Wednesday. So the rotation becomes probably 4 or 5 instead of 6 or 7 or 7 or 8.
4 games in, some good results. How are you feeling as far as where the team is on the progression to where you want to be, with, as you mentioned, those kind of real opponents under the belt?
Good. I don't think collectively we were all that happy walking off the field on Saturday. We felt like we were a little loose in the second half, especially late, and could have really put our foot on their throat, and we didn't. And we want to build in that mentality to go and finish the game on a really positive note. I think that's a great sign. You know, that tells you have experienced guys and you have winners in your locker room. Our schedule is going to get way harder over the next 3 or 4 games. Home or away, it doesn't really matter. These are 3 or 4 of the top, very, very top teams in the league.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned it yourself. You've had opportunities where you've had to chase a lead, and then more specifically in Miami where you had to protect a lead and could have gone better at points. Points looked pretty good. I mean, what do you... Where are you feeling right now in terms of late game management and how your team kind of deals with being in these different situations and going forward, as you said, into a very difficult schedule? Are you kind of happy with where they are right now in that sense?
No, not yet. You know, when we make subs, we expect those to impact the game in a positive way. And I think there was a short spell in the Miami game where we didn't impact it with our subs in a positive way. But that's an area that, you know, we've addressed with the guys through video. And there's a few moments that the guys that were welcoming those subs onto the field could have managed differently to help build them into the game in a cleaner way.
All right. Thanks so much.